So the Google Pixel 4a has been a hit at just $349, many people loving this offering, but the Galaxy S10e, just a year and a half old or so, was a flagship phone and is now a similar price, and these phones feel extremely similar. But let's see which one is going to be the better option for you in this video. Let's go. So what is up, guys? Nick here, helping you to master your technology. We'll begin with the Pixel 4a's body. We do have a plastic back here. We do have a square camera design, and we do have a mint color green, like a light color green on the side here. Volume marker right here. At the bottom, USB-C, we do have a microphone hole and a speaker. There is a speaker integrated up here in the earpiece. Punch hole camera there, and a headphone jack at the top. Curvy design, plastic feel is the name of the game here, but it still feels very well put together. Now, on the Galaxy S10e side of things, we do have ourselves a very nice aluminum rail around the edges, giving it a more premium feel than the Pixel 4a. Now on the right, you can see the fingerprint sensor is integrated within the body, which is very clean, kind of unique. Not a lot of phones do that, so I do like that. But the one is easy to feel out in the Pixel 4a as well. You can see stacking these side by side, they have almost identical dimensions. The Google Pixel 4a is actually just around 8.2 millimeters thick, and the S10e is slightly thinner at 7.9. But the S10e, because of its glass body, does way more at 150 grams. You'll feel it more versus the Pixel 4a's light and stealthy 143 grams. So definitely nice there. I should note that the Google Pixel 4a does have Gorilla Glass 3 versus Gorilla Glass 5 on the Galaxy S10e. Not that it means much to you, but it should be a little bit better at scratch resistance and, just kind of just overall durability for the Galaxy S10e. Also, the S10e does have IP68 dust and water resistant rating, so more flagship grade specs in that device. Although I gotta say, in terms of their designs, they feel very similar picking these up. They have a similar shape, a similar weight, a similar size. If you're looking for a compact phone with basically an all screen, you're gonna love either one of these devices. So when it comes to display, I've been checking both of these out and they're pretty close. However, there's one that's better. We'll talk about which one that is. Now this text is very sharp. So you have right around 443 ppi, because what the Google Pixel 4a is doing is putting a lot of pixels in a small body, 2340 by 1080. Now put 1080 on a larger phone like the Galaxy Note 20 Ultra, for example, and that ppi does come down when in 1080. You have to put in the WQHD to get that high PPI. Now over here you have an HDR display. Now for the Galaxy S10e, this is also a very nice resolution. It's pretty similar to the Google Pixel 4a at 2280 by 1080, but it's slightly less pixels, so it does have slightly less PPI. It's not going to be that noticeable whatsoever. This is HDR10 Plus display. They both have support for always on, but you'll notice one thing about both of these. The Galaxy S10e does have a bigger punch hole. It's just slightly bigger versus the Google Pixel 4a. Now, the Google Pixel 4a, the thing with it is it doesn't get as bright. It doesn't have as much usable brightness, I feel like, as the Galaxy S10e. So the S10e just looks a little bit more brighter than the Google Pixel 4a. However, I find the Pixel 4a's white balance to be a little bit nicer. However, you both have, on either one of these, you can get really good display modes. So over here, you can do natural or vivid. For the Google Pixel 4a, if we go into the settings for the display panel, we can go here to display and go to advanced, and you can see colors. We do have boosted, natural, and adaptive modes. So you can tweak the displays to your liking on both of these. So the Google Pixel 4a is slightly sharper than the Galaxy S10e, but the Galaxy S10e is slightly brighter. Have a very good zoom up to 5x. You get really close on stuff. You can go up to 50x on this phone, and not only that, and so you can see watching video is going to be a very similar experience on either one of these phones. You just have the punch hole on the left for the Pixel 4a and on the right for the Galaxy S10e. Okay, so I'm not going to spend too much time here because when it comes to the software differences, with the Google experience, you're getting that Pixel experience, very clean and minimal, and we'll also be able to get software updates very frequently, probably even faster than you'll see it on the Samsung phone. However, the Galaxy S10e is one of those phones that Samsung is promising to support for a long time coming, and you get a ton more features than the Pixel 4a when it comes to just like the extra stuff Samsung throws on top, like all this stuff up here in the quick panels. If you hold down right here, you have a whole more Samsung widgets. You have more Samsung themes. I mean, it's just so much more features thrown on top of Android. This is a more minimal experience over here, just giving you the essentials you need. It's really like a minimalist phone right here in the Google Pixel 4a, if you like just minimal software on your device. So that really comes down to your preference. Both are very smooth in their operation though. And talking about performance, the big separator here is that for a similar price, the Galaxy S10e is going to give you a Snapdragon 855 chipset. Now, depending on if you're in a different region, you might get an Exynos chip, which some people do not like versus this one right here, but you do get 6 gigs of RAM on both phones. Again, with the GPU, the Galaxy S10e is a better gamer as well with an Adreno 640 GPU versus a 1618 GPU for the Google Pixel 4a. So yeah, while they do both have UFS 2.1 storage, the performance on the Galaxy S10e is just going to be better across the board because it has that flagship CPU. So that could be the separator for you right there, but if you don't like the Samsung software, that could also not be the separator for you. Now, the Google Pixel 4a only comes in an option of 128 gig storage and only in one color, whereas with the Galaxy S10e, you can expand the memory as there is expandable memory up here in the SIM card tray. Also, it comes with 128 gigabytes standard. If you want to go up from there, you can get this with 256 gigs. So the storage expandability is much larger for the Galaxy S10e over here. So that's another win on this phone, but you gotta remember that Google gives you some nice cloud storage benefits with using Google services, although you can still do that with Samsung services as well. So it's kind of a wash there depending on which service you prefer. Now, one thing I want to talk about a little bit is their fingerprint scanners. They both have this feature where you can kind of just swipe down on the back and just bring down your notifications tray. That's nice. Over here for the S10e, it's in a little bit better location in my opinion. It's right there where your thumb would rest. So right there, but on the Pixel 4a, it's right where your index finger would rest. So pretty nice on both. You can just do that little neat feature right there. All right, so let's get to an area where a lot of people seem to care a lot about with their phone, and that is the cameras. Now, the Google Pixel 4a gives an excellent single shooter. This is a pretty simple, conclusion here. You have a simple shooter with portrait modes and night sight modes and very good 4K 30 video with a pretty solid front-facing camera. However, with the Galaxy S10e, it automatically wins in my opinion due to having an ultra wide angle camera. Now, why is that important? Because the ultra wide angle camera gives you so much more space with your shot. So if you need to back out or you can't step back, you need to get that photo, you can get it. However, I think some people are going to prefer the Google Pixel 4a's photos to the S10e's, but the S10e takes a little bit brighter photos and they turn out very nice. Also, it's getting a lot of those features from the newer Samsung phones. You do have a pro mode right here. You have a night mode on this phone and a pro video on this phone as well. So I think it's a little more feature packed. And then also on the front, this does give you a 10 megapixel camera on the front versus the Google Pixel 4a's 8 megapixels. So you can definitely get a really good photo on the front. In addition, I gotta say that the video resolution that you could shoot on the front is also higher for the Google or for the Galaxy S10e. So if we go to video size here, you can do up to 4K 60 on the front. You can't do that for the Google Pixel 4a. In addition, on the rear video, you can do up to 4K 60. So this has got more pro level video features than the Google Pixel 4a. And for that reason, if you want more features in your camera and you want that ultra wide, the Galaxy S10e is clearly the better value here if you're going to find these at a similar price point. However, if you don't care about camera like that and you just want a really fast, simple point and shoot shooter, you're going to love the Pixel 4a. I think it does a better job at just pulling out your phone, taking the photo, and getting the best result. I think it's funny how these are so similar, but they're kind of opposites. Like they have the buttons on the right for the Pixel, buttons on the left for the Galaxy S10e. They have the camera on the left for the Pixel, camera on the right for the S10e. Let's go ahead and play an audio sample, see how this does sound.
Have the ability to change between 108 megapixels, 16 by 9, but the real reason why I would be able to switch to this phone is because the video quality is excellent on here as well. And if we go to more, you can see you have live focus video, you have pro video, but not only do you have...
So you've seen right there that the audio quality from the bottom speakers got much better on the Pixel 4a. It should be pretty similar on the Galaxy S10e, giving you more of a loudspeaker on the top or on the bottom versus the top?
Aperture on this phone, very good bokeh on this one, and you do have the ability to change between 108 megapixels, 16 by 9.
So you can hear that just deeper, more bassy, just a better speaker on the bottom of both of these phones, but they both have stereo speakers. So for me, the audio quality is pretty much equal. I wouldn't pick either over the other just based on the stereo speakers. Now, when it comes to the battery, Google managed to cram in a 3140 milliamp hour battery in this body. That's actually pretty good size for the size of this phone. If you go any bigger, you're going to get a little bit more weight on the phone. Samsung managed a 3100 in here. Now, what's interesting to note is that the charging is faster on the Pixel 4a at 18 watts in the box, 15 watts for the Galaxy S10e in the box. Again, you could get bigger chargers if you want to go third party, but just wanted to note that out. Also, the Galaxy S10e is capable of reverse wireless charging and wireless charging in general, whereas the Pixel 4a is not. Another flagship feature over the Pixel 4a. Now, I do want to mention one thing about the battery life, though. The Pixel 4a is a better standby phone. If you leave it in your pocket, you leave it sitting, it doesn't really drain much. The S10e drains a little bit more when in standby, but when in actual usage, I found the S10e to be a little bit better than the Pixel 4a in actual usage. So that's something to note. They're pretty close to the same size battery, and I would say as a whole, both of these will get you through the day, medium to light use. Heavier use, you should still make it, but it's going to be really tight. You're going to be almost dead by the end of the day. If not, you might even kill the battery and have to charge 7, 8 o'clock at night. So these are not your road warriors. They will require some charge throughout the day if you're going hard on these phones. And the last thing we're going to wrap up here is the phone call quality. Now, in the past, I've had issues with Pixel phones and phone call quality, but these days, this one's doing excellent, as does the Galaxy S10e. Both of these have connectivity of 4G LTE, no 5G on either, so you have to live with that on these devices. However, what I will state is that one of these phones, the Galaxy S10e, actually has the Wi-Fi 6 versus AC on the Pixel 4a. So definitely a little bit faster Wi-Fi over here. Both have Bluetooth 5.0, so they both connect very fast to Bluetooth. Overall, you do have pretty great connectivity on both of these. However, you're not on the bleeding edge of 5G. Okay, so which one is the better pick? We basically broke them down in detail, and I gotta say, I think in terms from a pure spec standpoint, clearly the S10e is the better pick. It has the more superior specs, better cameras. It does have a little bit better battery life in usage for me. Also, I do find that the Galaxy S10e just offers a more premium feel with the aluminum rails. On the whole, if you want more spec, you also get headphone jack. I didn't mention that on the S10e. You get headphone jack on both. I think it's in a better location as well, as the wire doesn't kind of hang over your screen. The S10e, if you care more about spec, flagship design, you'll like this more. But if you hate Samsung software, but you love the size of the S10e, and you just want a minimal phone with great software support, you don't care about all the extra features, the Pixel 4a is a far better choice than the S10e for you, as it's pretty much a similar phone with a little bit of a cheaper body and a little bit slightly worse specs, not really that big of a deal. Let me know which one you would pick between the Google Pixel 4a and the Samsung Galaxy S10e down below in the comments section. If you found this video helpful, entertaining, informing, click the like button for me. Subscribe if you haven't already. Nick here helping you to master your technology. Be sure to be well, and peace.